Hello, I'm Richard Harper. I'm Principal Investigator on the Future Places Centre, an EPSRC funded research project at Lancaster University. The project will run for 5 years and its concern is with the digital economy, and in this instance how digital tools and techniques can contribute to improvements in industry, in education and in our communities. The Future Places Centre, or the FPC as we're calling it, at Lancaster University is external facing, wanting to take research out into the world at large. It is about working with the public rather more than writing for the scientific journals, though we will publish extensively. The goal of the Future Places Centre is to ask how digitally enabled understandings of the places in which we live can alter how we manage and shape those places. To paraphrase Churchill, if we shape the buildings we live in and those buildings in turn shape us, so the Future Places Centre is asking how we are moulded by our current landscapes and how we might change those landscapes to change us in turn. This means the centre is interested in the homes we build, the towns we occupy, and the natural environment we share, and how we might measure and assess how those places shape us. It then wants to ask how we might alter these places in turn so as to change us in the future.
Hi everyone, I'm Mark. I'm one of the marine specialists at Natural England. Here I am between the mountains of Cumbria in the north and the low grassy plains of Lancashire in the south, in this enormous bay created by glaciers and meltwater thousands of years ago. Now this is Morecambe Bay, and I'm going to give you a whistle-stop tour of some of the reasons why Morecambe Bay is such a great place for nature. In fact, Morecambe Bay is the biggest intertidal area in all of the UK, and all of this mud and sand is a dream come true for many birds, as it is teeming with life and the birds gobble up the huge amounts of worms, shellfish and sea snails. Because of this food, hundreds of thousands of birds fly here during the autumn and winter to feed on all those little critters in the sand and the mud, before they fly back to their breeding grounds in various places around the world, and this makes Morecambe Bay one of the most important places for birds in all of Europe. So these intertidal mudflats don't just feed birds, they feed fish and they also feed people as well. So Morecambe Bay is a thriving fishing industry with fishermen, many from families with generations of fishermen, harvesting cockles and mussels from the bay. Whereas cockle fishing in other parts of the UK has become quite an industrialised process, in Morecambe Bay they still collect them by hand, using traditional age-old techniques which look pretty backbreaking to me. And these fisheries are carefully managed and work alongside the birds and nature of the bay quite happily. Now, as well as the sand and the mud, the tides and the strong winds of Morecambe Bay also create two other important habitats. These are salt marsh and the towering sand dunes found in the north of Morecambe Bay around Walney Island and the Duddon Estuary. But over the hundreds of years, much of this has been lost, but in Morecambe Bay, fortunately, we still have lots of it. These two habitats are really important for a whole range of creatures, but one quite cute little one is the natterjack toad. This is a rare toad that lives on the coast and is only found in a few places now, but one of its strongholds are the dunes and salt marshes around Walney and north of Barrow. And during the breeding season, if you go for a walk here at night, you can hear their calls all around you, and it's like being in the tropics. So, there you have it. These were just a few of the reasons why Morecambe Bay is an amazing place for nature and for people. There are so many more intriguing features of the bay, but hopefully this little taster will mean that the next time you're out in the bay, you will feel a little more in touch with the wildlife that's all around you. And thanks for listening.
Morecambe. In years to come, people will think anybody could see that they would have gone to Morecambe. Today, people are just waking up to the idea that we might go to Morecambe. You see, I know about these things. I'm not going to give you a highfalutin speech about the science and all that. It's true. There is the marvellous bay which comes in faster than a man can run. There is watching the weather systems form on the other side of the bay. It's watching the birds come in and leave like the greatest biodiverse airport you've ever seen. There are the buildings which hark back to another era, but each with their own grandeur. But the thing about when you're judging why to go to a place, it's like when you're a youngster, the decision over your girlfriend or boyfriend, there's something to do with it smells right. In my previous career in the music industry, there was a thing about the chords you played on the piano or on the guitar where you could spend months and it just wasn't quite right. You know, it felt stimulating, it reminded you of something else. The thing about Morecambe is ultimately the chords of Morecambe are a hit record. Believe me, they're a hit record. That combination of the natural elements that are made so vivid in one place. A destination that has the Lake District with all its visitors on one side and Blackpool on the other. But more than that, it's the spirit of Morecambe. That's the smell bit. You can feel it's a sleeping giant. It's a place that feels the luck has deserted it a bit, but it's not haunted forever. The reason I'm not being scientific about the amazing things we're going to do in Morecambe, anybody watching this will know what the Eden Project can do. They'll know what Lancaster University can do. They know the commitment of all the partners. But ultimately, we have all seen places where people have poured money in and it's been a loser destination, where there's been loads of enthusiasm all wafted together for meetings, but then as the months go on after the excitement, it peters out into nothing. What's special here is it's great people, a great combination, all at the same time believing in the same thing, and it's the environmental equivalent of a hit record. This is Bohemian Rhapsody for the science world. You watch this space. Thank you for listening.
Eden North, being built in Morecambe, is testament to the feeling that Morecambe is a special place. But how do you shape your knowledge of somewhere so that you can better understand the relationship between a place like Morecambe and the community? The research agenda of the Future Places Centre is to measure that relationship, to discover what data you need and how you can use it, to understand, inform, and enable positive changes for health and well-being for all the communities that live there, be that the human communities, the wild bird communities, natterjack toads, or even lugworms in the sands. The Future Places Centre aims to combine digital technology, data, and human engagement to make future places healthier spaces.